Well, hi, I'm Mike Fink with Go Missions to Mexico, and we have a special guest with us here right now, so we wanted to take a moment and take advantage of his time with us. We have a fellow missionary who served in Cambodia for, what was it, 8 years?
8 years.
So we have Pastor Matt here. Matt, what's your last name?
Kuffel.
Kuffel, and he and his wife and family served in Cambodia for 8 years, and so it's a real privilege to have them here. They're here on a short-term mission team. And serving here in Mexico. So Matt, I wanted to ask you a question. Tell me, as a long-term missionary who served in Cambodia, tell me the value that you see on the importance of short-term missionaries having some cultural training and understanding so they know the people that they're serving.
Well, so much of the culture, the language, and the religion is caught up, and all that is caught up together. And so without any background, you really don't know the culture at all. So to study the language a little bit, to understand the culture, means you understand the people. And if they have value enough to come on a short-term mission, they have value enough to study a little bit about their culture, to know who they are.
Well, good. Well, one of the things that we emphasize in our mission organization is good, sound missiology. And so at the beginning of the week, we hold a couple-hour session of that deals with the culture and the ministry aspect, so you do know who you're serving. So, Matt, how many years, or tell us just briefly about the journey that you took upon knowing that you were wanted to go into missions, to the time that you were actually to go on the field, kind of your deputation and your language acquisition and just understanding the people you were going to serve. Tell us about that.
Well, from the time we felt the call to go to Cambodia, it was a 5-year span until we got on the field. Some of it was just letting our kids finish a certain level of school. Part of it was closing down my construction business. Part of it was selling the house. Part of it was going to Bible school. But part of it was just learning how to learn a language at an institute in Colorado, and just starting to study the culture and some of the background and history of Cambodia to know where the people are coming from. So in that 5 years there was some study, but the bulk of it came about a year before we went on the field. And then once we got on the field, it was 21 months, almost 2 years of just language learning and culturalization and relationship building.
Okay, so how many years, Pastor Matt, would you say, or how many months, or how much time did you spend in actual understanding and learning the culture of the people you were going to serve?
It's put it together. It's probably at least a year, of knowing their culture. Different cultures are complicated, and it's not something that you can know everything about them, especially if you don't study. So, but it takes some time to learn the culture to where you're going if you want to be able to reach the people. You have to know what their religious beliefs are to be able to find a connecting point for the gospel. You need to not be offensive in any manner to them as well, because then if you're offensive, then the gospel, it's hard for them to hear the gospel. So to study for a minimum of a year the culture is probably a good thing.
Okay. Now obviously in short-term missions, one of our contentions or one of our concerns in short-term missions is a lot of short-term missionaries come down on a short-term mission team and they don't get any cultural orientation as to who they're serving. So we really do place a high value on that. That's why we set aside Sunday, the first day, and we have a 2 1-hour sessions where we talk about the culture and then the ministry aspect. So as a former missionary, you would say that you would agree that it's important for short-term missionaries to get some cultural understanding to know who they're serving.
Yeah, absolutely. We tried to do some, and I think you guys sent out some paperwork to our team ahead of time, how to know the Mexican people, some of the culture, customs of the culture, and we read those, but until we got here and you did your cultural training, there were things that we did not know. So spending at least that 1 hour of in-depth study was very helpful for us.
Okay, was there any particular aspects that you that maybe stood out in that meeting that you found helpful as maybe a former missionary or as a short-term mission trip participant?
There's quite a few things. The one thing that comes to mind was that they are a peace-loving people, and what that means is that they don't want to rock the boat. And so it seems like they're not interested in certain things, but it's just because they don't want to rock the boat and they don't want to embarrass you in any way. And so to know that ahead of time is a good thing, because you might think that they're aloof, but they're not. They just don't want to be offensive in any way to us as well. So
good. Well, anyway, we wanted to just have a short interview with Pastor Matt, former missionary in Cambodia, served there 8 years. So we wanted you to be able to see, maybe you're back home, or maybe you're thinking about a mission trip, or maybe you're going to be going on a mission trip. We want you to understand the importance of understanding the people that you're going to serve. We have said that we all have a worldview or a way that we look at life. We have glasses that we look through, and one of the greatest problems in the short missionary movement is that people think that everyone else in the world thinks exactly like they do, and that's a big mistake there. So we wanted you to know that. We wanted you to hear from a former missionary who has been on the field for a lot of years, who spent countless hours, set up to around a year, in just cultural training. So it's important. It's one of the things that we focus on in Go Missions to Mexico. So Matt, I want to thank you for your service to God for 8 years, and God bless you. And it's been a real privilege to have you here this week, and thank you for sharing about the importance of understanding the people that we are serving in good missiology here in Mexico. So God bless you, Matt.
Thank you. And can I just say that thank you guys very much for being concerned about the culture to the people that you are ministering, because it shows them great value, and thank you for instilling that in us as well with your training. So thank you both.
Well, great. Thank you, Matt. God bless you.
Thank
It's
you,
been a
Mike.
real privilege to have you here this week.
Same here.
Okay.
Thanks.